What's good with it? What's good with it? Good evening, good evening. It's your boy Jay Taylor, Voices for the Voiceless, and I'm back with another video. This is something that I wanted to talk about a week ago when it went down, but I just didn't get around to it. Um, but I hope everybody's enjoying their Thursday night. 4th of July is on the horizon tomorrow. So this is some great news. And the narrative about Donald Trump being a racist and all of it, he against African people and he's against minorities. And it's just not holding up. It's not being sufficient. It's not being real. Um, the whole thing with Israel and Iran, we got a ceasefire over there. Palestine and the other people, they kind of cooling out. I mean, Trump is like creating a lot of peace across the world. Man. That's just the facts, bro. You know what I'm saying? And now, as the title says, Trump, peace in Africa, Trump helps end 30-year war between Rwanda and the Congo. Man, 30-year war, I heard maybe 6 million people since the 90s have been, unalived in this war. And before we get started, definitely want to flash this, blow that up, so we don't have no problem. Feel me? Copyright disclaimer, section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Copyright disclaimer under section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in the favor of fair use. All right, so we got that out the way. And also, I want to show y'all what Trump had to say the other day, man, because you don't get his credit, man. You don't never get his credit. Trump, get that man his props, man. He working. All these false narratives and stuff, man. It's just not right. When somebody do something good, even if you don't like him, you should congratulate him.
That Rwanda, all about Rwanda, and the Congo will be doing a peace settlement, probably coming in on Monday or Tuesday. We're going to be signing it up, and we've stopped a very vicious war. So that was an honor for me to be involved. I want to thank J.D. Vance for a great job, and also our Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, has done a fantastic job. So Rwanda, long-term war with the Congo, a very bloody war. They're all bloody, but this was a really bloody one, is going to be making peace with Congo, and they can get on to making trade deals with the United States and other places and have a much more normal form of life. We're very honored by that. As you know, we did a very great job with India and Pakistan, and we had India in. It looks like we're going to be making a trade deal with India. And we had Pakistan in. It looks like we're going to be making a trade deal with Pakistan. And it's a beautiful thing to watch. Serbia, Kosovo, likewise, they've been fighting for years. And as you know, we brought that one to a conclusion. And now we have a couple of big ones. We have Russia, Ukraine, which is making a little bit of progress. And we have Israel. And nobody really knows what that one is all about. We're going to find out pretty soon, I guess.
Yes, indeed, man. I mean, Trump gotta kind of toot his own horn, so people will know what he's doing. And basically, what he's doing is everybody wants to be a trade partner with the United States. So he's basically telling these nations, if you want to do business with the United States, if you want to be our trade partner, you got to end that war. It's the art of the deal. And Trump has a book called The Art of the Deal. You know what I'm saying? But just so y'all can understand how crazy this war was, you know what I'm saying? And how monumental him stopping this war. Thousands, millions of Africans were being slaughtered in this war. And I just want to bring this video up here so we can get a little clarity on what was actually going on over there in the Congo and Rwanda. You know, I think that's a good way to get some clarity. Let's get that up here. Gonna make this bigger.
Let's talk about one of the longest running conflicts in the world. It's happening in the Democratic Republic of Congo, which is here. People also call it the DRC, or sometimes just Congo. But don't confuse it with the Republic of Congo, which is another country next door. The DRC is huge, but we're going to focus on the east of the country, where fighting has been going on for almost 3 decades, involving dozens of armed groups. Neighboring countries like Uganda, Rwanda, and Burundi have got involved too. So it's always been super complicated, never as clear-cut as one side versus another. But one rivalry that's played out this whole time has been between Congo and Rwanda, and that's a big part of what's happening now. At the start of 2025, a powerful rebel group called the M23 took over the cities of Goma and Bukavu, the capitals of North and South Kivu provinces. But the UN and others say the M23 is getting all kinds of support from Rwanda, and that Rwanda has about 3,000 to 4,000 troops on the ground in eastern DRC. Officially, Rwanda denies any involvement.
Does Rwanda currently have any troops at all in eastern DRC?
I don't know.
You're the commander-in-chief.
Yeah, there are many things I don't know.
The M23 did not come back on its own. It came back because Rwanda backed it.
It's part of an ongoing tension and conflict between Congo and Rwanda for 30 years now.
We're Phoenix Energy, a family-owned oil company focused on unleashing American oil from North Dakota and Montana.
It all goes back to the 90s, or 1994 to be precise. That's when the genocide in Rwanda happened. In just 100 days, extremists from the majority ethnic group in Rwanda, the Hutus, killed around 800,000 people. Most of them were Tutsis, a minority ethnic group. The genocide ended when
Wow, 800,000 people.
Tutsi-led rebel group took control of the capital Kigali and seized power. And by the way, one of the leaders of that group was Paul Kagame, who's the current president of Rwanda and has been since the year 2000. Now, during and after the genocide, hundreds of thousands of Hutus fled over the border to refugee camps in DRC. But among them were some of the extremists who took part in the killings.
They then started to remobilize and carried with them the anti-Tutsi ideology that had stimulated the genocide in Rwanda. And therefore, Kigali saw them as enemies.
2 years after the genocide, Rwanda invaded DRC to go after these Hutu militia groups. And that kicked off what's known as the First Congo War. Other countries, including Uganda and Burundi, joined the fight. They all went after Congo's president, who'd been in power for more than 30 years, kicked him out, and installed a new government. But they soon fell out with that new government. And that triggered another, even bigger war. The war ended with a peace deal. It included elections and a process to integrate various rebel groups into the Congolese army. But that deal never really brought peace, particularly in eastern Congo.
It's what some analysts call a no peace, no war situation. There's a proliferation of armed groups. The army has remained fragmented and also very abusive and criminalized. And then internationally, although the Rwandan and Ugandan governments, who were heavily involved, of course, in the civil war, have formally agreed to pull out their troops from Eastern DRC in the early 2000s, they never really agreed to reduce their influence.
20 years later, Eastern Congo is still being fought over. One of the main features of the conflict has been a series of rebellions by Congolese Tutsi groups, often backed by Rwanda. These groups have evolved over time, but the M23 is the latest iteration and has become the most powerful. It emerged in 2012 and got its name from a peace deal that had been signed 3 years earlier, a deal the M23 says the Congolese government never fully implemented. The M23 actually managed to capture Goma back in 2012, but were forced to withdraw after just 10 days. And for a few years after that, the M23 were essentially out of the picture, but they came back in 2021 and have been gaining more and more territory since then.
Kigali-backed M23 rebels ramped up their lightning offensive in the east of DR Congo.
The way they've captured, and this time held on to Goma and Bukavu, the region's main cities, shows just how powerful they've become.
Calm has returned to Bukavu and people are getting back their daily lives.
Rwandan-backed M23 rebels now aiming for the city of Uvira.
Uvira would be the third major city in M23's advance in eastern DRC in a matter of weeks.
It's estimated that M23 has 6,000 fighters, but a lot of people say they couldn't have taken all this territory without Rwanda's help.
The M23 itself, from what we understand, is really dominated by the Rwandan army. For key battles, it's the Rwandan army that brings the firepower, that brings the coherence, the discipline, the organization, the resources with it. The M23 didn't have any of that. If it hadn't been for the Rwandan army, we wouldn't be here today.
If also you see the number of Rwandan military who are fighting alongside M23, one will wonder if it is the M23 is backed by Rwanda, or if Rwanda is intervening, just accompanied by M23.
Now, what do the M23 and Rwanda want in Eastern Congo? Well, there's a lot going on here. There's what the different sides are saying, and also what experts are piecing together based on what's actually happening. So, for example, the M23 and Rwanda say they want to protect Tutsis who face discrimination and persecution in Congo for a long time. But that doesn't necessarily explain everything they're doing or have done.
There is a history of persecution and discrimination against the Congolese Tutsi community in the Eastern Congo. It's very important to say that. And yet, there wasn't an increase in that discrimination or persecution in the days leading up to the M23 rebellion. It's not like they responded to an imminent threat.
The M23 and Rwanda also say they're going after Hutu extremists. These are the groups we mentioned earlier that Rwanda first went after back in the 90s. There's one group in particular which comes up. It's called the FDLR, and Rwanda still sees it as a security threat.
The FDLR question has to be answered. We have to find a solution.
That is something Rwanda has been always bringing up, even when, according to the UN report, according to many actors in the region, according to Rwandan officials themselves, the threat to Rwanda that's represented FDLR has changed completely over years.
The genocide has such a foundational role in Rwandan society that
this brilliant device keeps your home cool. And
all right. So I think the commercial, came right on time, actually, that time. But as you can see, man, it's a lot of confusion that was going on over there. It's a lot of beefing. Since the 90s, man, they'd have had several peace agreements that did not last, and it's been a brutal war. A lot of Africans in that region have lost their life due to that war, and Trump, they say he a racist, just help end that 30-year war in the Congo and Rwanda. So these people are delusional, They're delusional, man. So So let's see how it went down in the White House when they got this deal between Congo and Rwanda, and there was this beautiful African reporter that was there to confirm. She's from the Congo, and she came in at the White House and chopped it up with Trump, and she confirmed everything was going down with the peace deal. So that was great to see. And yeah, man, let's roll the clip without further ado.
And she has a person who's a colleague of hers, a friend of hers, and that she has a lot of respect for, who comes from the area and knows exactly what's happening. Caroline, could I ask you to say a few words?
Yes, sir. Here we have Ariana, who is from the continent of Africa. She's been a reporter here in the United States for many years, and she has a story to share with the press, with the media, and with these two fantastic leaders who have joined you today. So, Ariana, please.
Why don't you come up here and talk so they can see?
Sure.
That'd be great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr.
It's a great honor.
Thank you, Mr. President. So as Caroline has mentioned, President, first of all, I want to let you know that I'm the only African reporter accredited here at the White House.
Wow.
Cover for the entire continent. So I just arrived from Congo, Democratic Republic of the Congo, yesterday. I went to see firsthand how the people is feeling and the president's message, President Felix Tshisekedi, about this upcoming peace deal. And let me tell you firsthand what I've witnessed myself. I spoke with the people on the street. I spoke with youth. They know your name. They know that our president named President Trump is working hard to finally bring peace to the country. I saw hope. They have hope now for a better day in Congo. They see what you're doing as a future, better future for Congo. And I had opportunity to sit down with President Felix Tshisekedi for an interview because I want to understand his mind, what he's thinking, his feeling about everything that your administration is doing. And he told me firsthand that for many years, many American presidents overlooked this conflict. They didn't do nothing. Even myself.
Now, keep that in mind. What she just said. Every American president was approached to help stop this war for 30 years. And Trump was the only one that's coming from a lady from Congo. He was the only president that intervened and got the deal done just like that. Come on, man. You got to give him his props sometime, dog. What's wrong with y'all?
Myself, I cover President Biden's administration. I pressed many times about this conflict. People are dying in Congo. This country has so much potential, but
Biden didn't even do nothing. All right, now.
They need help because this war is destroying the country. Right. They never gave me any answer. And he told me, President Tshisekedi, that you have no idea, he's very thankful for what you're doing, for what your administration is doing. Not only him, the entire Congolese people, they see that finally they will have hope. And President Tshisekedi also mentioned at the end of my interview that when peace finally comes to the Democratic Republic of the Congo, he's thinking to nominate you as a Nobel Prize Peace because he said you have been working to bring peace in the world, not only at the Congo, and he's very hopeful to meet you in the future.
That's so nice, boy, and that's so beautifully stated. And Caroline said, number one, she did say, and I shouldn't say this because it's politically incorrect, she said, she's beautiful, and you are beautiful. I'm not allowed to say that, that could be the end of my political career, but I said it anyway.
She is bad, though.
But you are beautiful, and you're beautiful inside. So I wish I had more reporters like you. So you covered Africa for a long time?
Yes, for over 10 years.
Wow.
I cover even your first administration.
Yes, I know that. That's great. Well, thank you. That's so nice that you said that. Appreciate it.
And I have one more question,
Yes.
Mr. President. Since we know in July or in the future, both President of Rwanda and the Congo will be coming
Yes.
to the United States, In Africa, President João Lourenço, the president of Angola, he is also the leader of African Union.
Good.
He
Yes, I know.
worked very hard to bring peace, but unfortunately,
Let's get him here.
Yes, that's
Okay.
right.
Would you invite him for me?
Of course.
Okay.
Of
No, we'll
course.
have. I know that he works very hard, and he's the head of essentially the union. So the union all over Africa, not the kind of union that we have. This is the union all over Africa, and I'd love to have him. So you'll let him know.
Of course,
Okay.
Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Good.
Mr.
Now you go back to where you belong,
Sure.
right? That's great. That's a great job. It's real knowledge and real heart too. Congratulations. Okay. So we're here today to celebrate a glorious triumph, and that's what it is for the cause of peace. And this is a long time waiting, the signing of a historic peace agreement between the Democratic Republic of the Congo and the Republic of Rwanda. The conflict has continued, and it's been going on for many, many years. It's been going from, I guess they say 30 years, the Great Lakes region of Africa for a long time, and maybe even time before that. How is the Great Lakes region? Must be beautiful, right? Beautiful, beautiful region, but they had a lot of war, right? A lot of fighting, a lot of death. It's displaced countless people and claimed the lives of thousands and thousands. But today, the violence and destruction comes to an end, and the
All right, so that video giving me a little trouble. So y'all get the gist of that. You get the gist of that, man. You know what I'm saying? And the media, once again, is not talking about this stuff, man. This is good stuff. You know? I mean, we ran through the little backstory of, you know, how the war started, how long it been going on, and, you know, just a little intervention from the United States offering Rwanda and the Congo trade deals. And they say ceasefire, 30 years. Can you believe it? You know? But no, Donald Trump a racist. And he against black people and all this old mess, man. These people are delusional. They really are. They don't want to give a man his props. The media don't want to cover this kind of stuff. They just criticize everything. You know, I think the big beautiful bill just passed. I had to do a video about that. Oh, he gonna raise your Medicaid and your it's like, man, when is y'all gonna let the man cook, man? He healing. He's not only healing, you know, that part of the world, man. There's other peace deals that's going on, man. We're trying to stop wars. I mean, Russia and Ukraine, they just, you know, they offer to their own thing. But hopefully, you know, like you said, he got them on the line to still try to knock that war out the box. Iran and Israel, that's over with. You know, that's due to great leadership, man. So, yeah, let me bring up another clip here. And the lady that was at the press conference, she gonna be talking again, and I think the president of Rwanda is gonna be in this too. So let's clear that up, man, just to confirm that the peace deal is in effect.
I'm here with Ariana Barris, who is the only White House correspondent who represents all of Africa here at the White House. And Ariana, it's such a big day here as President Trump has invited Rwanda and Congo to sign a peace deal that was announced just last week. You actually got to sit down with the president of the Congo in Africa earlier in the week and speak with him about this momentous, this historic
Oh, okay. So the president of Congo, not Rwanda. Okay.
event that's happening here today at the White House, and you will be in the Oval Office as well. But when you were talking to the president, you asked him essentially why the international community has ignored this for so long. And here's what he had to say.
The international community have forsaken us, and we are victims, and we have millions of victims recorded since then. Now, we believe that the international community ought to take side with us and help us sort this situation. That's why I would like to hereby thank the Trump administration for.
Yeah, so the international community, you know, has forsaken this part of the world and just kind of just left them out to dry. And Trump is the one that cared enough to create peace when everybody else turned their back, not just the former United States presidents, but other parts and leaders across the world alike. Come on, man, get that man his props, man. I think he deserved the Nobel Peace Prize. You know what I'm saying? As much as he doing.
For the efforts they are doing, and I'm even convinced that this will be successful. And I really want to say that finally the international community, through the United States taking the lead, have understood that they needed to help the DRC people.
Ever wondered what your home looks like from space? Enter your address and get a 360-degree satellite view of your home.
So why do you feel like this has been ignored by so many around the world, this genocide, this fighting that's taken place for over 30 years?
Thank you so much, Lindsay, for having me. As you've mentioned, I was in Congo last week. I've witnessed myself how proud, how happy the people of Congo are because of this peace deal. And I've seen hope. You can tell that there is hope right now. And from the president answering your question, he have said hypocrisy. This is what he noticed from the international community and also from many African leaders, except, of course, the president of Angola, President João Lourenço, who worked very hard to bring peace to Congo, but unfortunately, he couldn't deliver. But now they are seeing into the United States under, of course, the leadership of President Donald Trump, that finally they will see peace in Congo, which pretty much will bring development and, of course, economic benefit to the country.
Yes, and I believe we have that clip as well, where the president of the Congo is saying that it is hypocritical that Africa was not able to create or find a solution themselves. So let's listen to that.
We are ourselves the very problem. We are accepting and agreeing upon principles that we do not abide by. When I took office in 2019, there was a resolution that read, in 2020, the objective would be to silence the arms and weapons in Africa. Was it achieved? No. Today, it's very unsuccessful, meaning we are voting principles that we do not even abide by. As long as we behave this way, other continents would never respect us.
Ariana, why do you feel that Africa wasn't able to find a solution to this problem that's been going on since 1995?
Yeah, as the President Felix Tshisekedi have mentioned, he said that many African leaders would comment to him that is unfair, the war, but they would not public say it. Like he said, that was something that he couldn't take it. That was something not that some African leaders were doing, except one or other that would recognize that that was not the posture that most of African leaders should have. They should condemn, because that was one state invading another one because of the mineral and all the richness. And he was expecting for all the African leaders together to condemn and to act. But he couldn't see that. That's why he said that was something that he pretty much criticized for many years. But now,
sometimes it's just best to have an outside entity that's neutral come in and kind of mediate things. And I think that's what Trump, you know what I'm saying, kind of symbolized in this situation. He was like a neutral party. So sometimes that's necessary. I mean, everybody over there got a vested interest, you know, with the minerals and stuff like that. So people didn't want to say too much to jeopardize their position with other nations. And it was just a mess. But, you know, Trump came in and cleaned house, though. You know what I'm saying? And, hey, y'all want to trade with the United States? This what we need to get this peace deal together.
Now, as I mentioned, he said, unfortunately, because of this hypocrisy from the African leaders, he ended up coming to United States he ended up looking for solution in other places. And finally, the United States is taking serious under, of course, President Trump, because even previous administration never looked at this conflict with seriousness, with willing to help. They didn't do that. But finally, President Trump is the one who said, this must stop, this is wrong.
And we even heard the president of Congo say that President Trump didn't pay attention in his first term, but he is in his second term. What is the standpoint of Africans and how they view President Trump?
This is a great question, Lindsay, because I went to Congo. I spoke with the people, even little kids. You're not going to believe that. They know a man named Trump is doing something to bring peace to their country. Some of them, they don't know much about President Trump, but they know the name Trump because they know that's the man behind this upcoming peace that is coming to.
Yeah, I think like in Trump's first administration, when he was the president the first time, I just think he didn't get around to it. You know what I'm saying? Because he had a lot of snakes in his administration too. Now he got more leeway. He got the House and the Senate. You know what I'm saying? And he got he learned from his first administration and who to put in what position. So now his administration is running like a well-oiled machine. It's like a well-oiled machine now. So he got more leeway to make more decisions. You know what I'm saying? He got the right people in the Supreme Court to do things. So yeah, it was just a learning experience his first time around, I believe.
To Congo. And also, they are very, very happy. You can see hope in the eyes when you talk to the people. They say, finally, we'll be able to make our country grow. We'll be able to do business with people because we're not going to be focused on solving this war problem that has been lasting for many years and killing many people. So they are happy. They have hope now.
The president even suggested that the war between Rwanda and Congo has killed more people than World War II. Just for context for our viewers here.
Wow. This war is a 30-year war, man. Can't stress that enough.
President Trump has talked about how he has solved peace between Pakistan and Iran, Abraham Accords, which he hopes to have more of, and now Congo and Rwanda. You ask the president if he believes President Trump should get a Nobel Peace Prize because of that. Here's what he had to say.
Some people would say that this war has caused more dead than the Second World War. And I think if President Trump, thanks to mediation, managed to definitely end this war, he would really deserve this Nobel Prize. I would go the first to vote for him.
Ariana, do you believe that this is something that these two countries will nominate the president for? Does it deem itself worthy of a Nobel Peace Prize?
When I spoke with President Tshisekedi, he was very clear that this was a word that previous administration, United States, couldn't do anything except this one under the leadership of President Trump. And he also know that President Trump is not only focused on Africa or solving this problem in Congo, but he's also focused on bringing peace between Russia and Ukraine and also in the Middle East. And he mentioned to me during this interview that.
Did you know that with your VA home loan benefit, that the down payment requirement is $0? Did you know?
Because they see hope, peace coming to Congo, when finally the peace reach the Democratic Republic of Congo, he will be more than happy to nominate President Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize.
That's a fact. That's a fact. You know what I'm saying? Why not? He try to go around the world and stop wars from popping off.
And finally, before we leave here, as a representative of all of Africa, as you are here at the White House, what does this moment not just mean for these two countries, but also Africa as a whole that makes up many, many countries?
Yeah, this is an historic day, of course. because, as you know, many people in Africa know about this conflict for years, and no one could do anything to solve. Many Congolese die. The country is devastated. The country, even though has so many natural resources and so many opportunity from business, from tourism, from many areas, they wasn't able to grow because of the war. So now, with this peace deal agreement signing that we will be witness in a few hours, they are hopeful that the country finally will be able to rise and to grow. So, and this is not only a happy moment for the Congolese people, it's for the entire continent. Because even though some couldn't do much to solve this war problem, everybody's happy. Everybody was expecting this war to end, because those are two brother and sister country, like Rwanda and Congo. They are neighbor country. They are pretty much family. They shouldn't be fight. And thanks to President Trump for looking to that and do something. This is a hope not only for Congo, but for the entire continent, because all the continent, all the countries in Africa, they want this war and many other wars to end.
Well, thank you for being here to talk with us.
Wow. Wow, man. I love this reporter, man. Blessings to that lady for coming through and confirming that the people of the Congo and Rwanda and all of Africa are saluting Donald Trump for his involvement in making this deal go through to stop these wars, man. Well, this is a great video, great information. Man, spread the word, man. People can get off this whole racist tip with Trump, man. The man clearly is not racist. It's just I'll be arguing with people back and forth about this man. They don't want to accept the fact that he out here doing good things. They would rather him fail so they could be right. I allege they want him to be racist. But yeah, man, it's your boy Jay Taylor, Voices for the Voiceless. We love y'all. And until next time, we'll see you soon. Peace and blessings.